not on the screen.
What time are we done today?
Well, it says 12:30, we're doing commission.
Are
I hope we'll be.
just trying to remote?
Okay,
I just want a remote upstairs.
it is Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. We'll call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One another.
Okay, any minutes or reports received and filed? Okay, we're gonna forego our liaison reports and upcoming meetings and events. We have any bids and contracts? Okay, any unfinished business? New business. Well, we don't have John till 8:30, so 9:30 we have Brian Ridenhour with information systems.
Yep,
I'm ready.
good. All right.
I don't.
You got any changes?
No changes.
Really?
Well, I mean, the only change I do have.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know I sent you guys the documentation, but went and printed you out a copy of it. The main thing that I wanted to change, I've got some good news and some other good news. But anyway,
God, you got a book.
I'd asked for an increase for Brent Fisher. I know it's hard to kind of wrap your hands around kind of what we do, but over the past 4 years, I've been, and my department's been involved in upgrading pretty much the entire county infrastructure when it comes to network security, servers, things like that. So a big part of that has been this big effort for virtualization. What that is it takes basically hardware boxes and turns them into just images, and we run them all on like one platform. So we've been able to decrease the amount of hardware that we have to have in stock to accomplish what other servers have been doing. So Brent came over from his previous place of employment, and he is a specialist in virtualization. So I was able to leverage his skill sets immediately in order to help the county out as far as decreasing the amount of hardware inventory that we have. So when we decrease the amount of hardware inventory we have, we also decrease the amount of maintenance we pay, and just the overall cost goes down. The amount of storage that we have to have goes up, but it doesn't go up in relationship to the amount of hardware platforms we support. So to have somebody like that on staff is to me, it's crucial, and be able to keep them and things like that. With his skill sets that he is already in here at a pretty good price. But I highly recommend that we go ahead and give him an increase in order to keep that skill set viable and available to us over time. So that's the only difference that I think Kristen and I had when it came to talking about my budget was I think you took that out, and I would like to keep it in there. So it's not that much. It's
25 cents an hour?
It's like a $5,000 annual increase.
So I look at
It's about a 10%.
this book.
Is this what you emailed us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because that was a zip file, and I get scared when you send zip files. Oh my goodness, I didn't think you got it. So all of these were just all the attachments in?
Correct. The supporting documentation that goes with the spreadsheet.
Thank you.
So, and I also put a letter that has more detail in it.
Can I get 2 more copies? One for.
What page are we on,
Yes,
Kristen?
Okay.
What page?
I don't know.
40, 50?
Yes, 50. It's up on the screen too.
Oh gosh, I Got my breakfast, I forgot to put it on vibrate. La chica loca, here we go.
So there were multiple requests for merit increases. They all got taken out because there's no merit in there at the moment. I'm not in any way opposed. We just have a hard time figuring out a good way to do merit with the different size departments and things that we have. Are we picking and choosing only the ones that requested it? Are we giving a flat dollar amount? Are we giving an extra percentage? It just gets hard with the variation of departments and things going on. So all of the merit was taken out at the moment. It's not saying that it couldn't go back in. Or if you wanted to just consider Brian's an adjustment to Brent's salary, you could do that as well.
Alrighty, I don't have any questions.
And Brian, we usually discuss salaries last, so we'll come back around to it later. You guys don't have any questions for Brian?
Yeah, does he have any capital? You got any capital stuff?
Your list.
So if you got, it's on,
112 or,
well, I got the spreadsheet that I submitted for
Right.
the new requests. But yeah, I mean, I've got, an exchange server upgrade, like I said, all the supporting documentation goes with it. I've got, some workstations upgrade, things like that. I'm still working towards getting like this phased cycle as far as getting the workstations on a cyclical kind of thing where they're not all done at one time. Unfortunately, when I started, about everything was ready to expire, but it seems like I've kind of got a really good handle on all that. I also included like a spreadsheet that has the total number of servers and devices that we support, which it should be on page 3 if you have the report. Right now it stands at 351, just computers. That doesn't count network switches, routers, firewalls, all those things like that. So
where's Brian's capital request at in the budget book?
It is not. Brian's is kind of a moving target at all times. We don't really usually set, like, these are the things. He kind of submits a list of,
Right,
you know.
total
whatever.
number.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I was just looking for the total number, and I mean, obviously.
There's 225,000 in the sales tax budget
Right.
for computerization.
Yeah. And I think that's down, isn't it, from last year?
It's the same, so usually that's the same number. Brian doesn't usually spend it all.
Right.
It's just kind of a floating number we have for computerization if things come up. And like I said, sometimes things move up or down the list based on what happens
Right.
and what we need to do right then.
Okay, so it'd be on page 113. You got computerization, 225,
And
what you're looking at.
His list of requests did not add up to 225. It's just that's the set number we've been putting in there for computerization.
Right.
So like I was looking at the amounts so far that's in the system, I'm well under that right now, right? As far as this year goes.
Yeah.
So I really try to do what I can.
So as I look at Brian's list here, he's at 235. If I'm looking, page 2,
The spreadsheet,
yeah, page 2 on the spreadsheet, you're at 235.
right? Yeah, as long as I got
Which-
my spreadsheet right.
You may not have to do all those, or is all that needed, or?
Well, what it is, I went through and I took requests. So, for instance, the EMS upgrade, the internet upgrade, and that includes a fiber connection, and the domain migration isn't really but I could probably not do like 5,000 or 6,000 of it. The domain migration though, we've got to get done because they have all the HIPAA stuff that we have to be concerned about and things like that. I'm not sure in the MEOC, it says phone system talk. Okay, So we're also within that, you might talk to Sierra, so the RSOC fund might actually cover
Right,
the phone system and the Meraki firewall and the switch for the MEOC, and that's about 20 grand right there.
so that'd be some grant funds.
Yeah.
Through the
Yeah.
RPC that, through RSOC.
And then also, the Public Works Fund will cover their computers, laptops, monitors, and tablets, So although mine says 235, it's, there's, yeah, it's kind of
Comprehensive
a,
list of
yeah.
everything. So Public Works has theirs in their budget.
I
Right.
see.
Okay.
So here's where Brian's at right now. So he's only spent 30,000 of the 225 this year, and he has another 18,000 encumbered at the moment.
right. And I've got some additional workstations that that's why I was looking at it yesterday, because I was needing to get an order. I actually have kind of found a better deal on computers through the state for the Bringer Center, like half.
Oh,
Yeah, so I might try to take advantage of that. And then also, inside my budget, I've got a managed network services proposal. And I talked to Huber, yesterday, and I had them create like a bundle price. So right now, if you piece, like, we're doing like all our stuff a la carte, and I'll give this to you as well. So, the top part is kind of what we have going on currently, and then the bottom is what they're proposing. And actually, it is, it's less expensive. It saves us about 25 grand over a 3-year period.
Sitting in the zip file.
No, this is not. This is hot off the press.
You got another one for Harry?
I have to teach you how to get virtual with this stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So anyway, so the front page is kind of like the synopsis of what goes on the back page. So you look at the front page, right now we're buying all those products individually and from like various vendors, but they also offer those same kinds of services. Plus, if we go ahead and contract with them, like I said, it'll save us money over the long run, but it'll also, we'll get more value out of that because they roll in. So we've been trying to have this employee training, security awareness training, and things like that. And I haven't done a very good job about getting that rolled out this year because of all the different other projects we had going on. But they actually manage that for us. So there's just a lot more to that with that program. And like I said, in the long run, it saves us too. So I would like that, this isn't an addition. This actually takes away part of what we're already spending and saves us money. So, like I said, this is kind of a late thing, but I called them and I said, hey, what else can we do in order to make this more viable program, things like that. And so Dustin Schantmeyer, he put that together for me. And I would like that to be considered. Like I said, that's not in addition to what I'm doing. That's to replace some and it actually bring down the amount of money I'm spending. So, any questions?
So what is the network redesign? I mean, is that just help, or just try to?
Yeah, so anyway, like the cut down version of it is the county has like a multiple location, multiple networks going on. And as far as like the security and things like that, each network's kind of assigned its own number group, right? And they call them VLANs. So over time, those things have kind of like, not in the past 4 years, of course, but over time, they've kind of got convoluted.
Kind of piecemeal?
Right, piecemeal together and stuff like that. And so part of what I've been trying to accomplish is kind of bring order kind of back in from the chaos, so to speak. And so what I asked them to do was give me a proposal to do that. So the proposal that they gave me to do that was 18 grand,
Right.
which is in that budget.
Mhm.
But if we go with this program, they waive that. So that's why it's so much more cost effective to kind of go with this program versus just kind of continue at piecemeal. And so, in a perfect world, I would have time to do all the things that company does, but we just don't. I mean, we're busy keeping up with the ad hoc requests, trying to do some strategic planning along the way and things like that. So that's kind of what that what that is them going through and basically straightening out a lot of what needs to be straightened out within the network hardware.
So it's not just a design, it's a design and implementation.
Correct.
Using existing hardware that
That's
we
right.
have.
Yeah, we went through and I know I hate to even say it, right, because then something comes up, like COVID, right? But we've replaced all of our network switches, routers, things like that. So we've got all of it under maintenance. So only thing we should have to do now is kind of get things straightened out and get it in a, like a managed type environment.
Okay.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, it makes.
Why did it take you so long to do this?
I know, right? 4 years. I'm still learning. But yeah, so.
Sounds like a good idea, so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything further. So I appreciate your time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
You bet.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you guys need your copies of what Brian handed
No.
out?
sure.
This one I do.
There's one for
You want a
Dawn,
piece
I
of
need
this one?
one for me.
Okay.
I gave her the book that,
So this is the
He wrote.
one, this is the other. Okay, I'll get it for you. Yeah.
Not that I need
So
that
how many
whole book,
total do
but
you
I'd like to have the first couple
Three,
pages.
one for Dawn,
Okay.
one for Debbie, and one for me.
need? Okay.
Sheriff John Wheeler.
So do we scan these documents and put it anywhere?
Yeah, I scan them
With
and put out
each.
there on your drive.
I mean, with like the minutes. So,
This is what I sent
not
you.
that I'm worried about hauling them, but, you
Yep.
know, just if he
Yep,
leaves and
appreciate
he
it.
doesn't get a copy of the document, can you go back and find it
That's why
somewhere?
we're getting a copy for Dawn, so she should have a copy of it and hand out with the minutes.
And then have it go with the minutes, so you can go online and get that or whatever.
That's what you did
Day or
with
two later.
Lynn, so hopefully Dawn will take care of
There's one for Dawn. This is mine.
So,
I had just enough. So,
I got this email, so I don't need mine, if somebody else needs one.
Page 98 if you're following in the book.
so we turned in our budget to Kristen, and then she had some issues with it, and we worked together to come up with what we're gonna present you today. And these are about 10 bullet statements of what's changing in my budget. So the first thing is a jail deputy position. So last year, they came to me and wanted to add another jail deputy, a jail investigator to jail. Someone that can help do some of the classification, someone that can do background investigations on new employees, someone that can listen to the phones especially for specific cases. I didn't want to do it at that time, so I gave them a test and evaluation, I guess you could call it, and told them to go ahead and put someone in that position. And I said if it worked out, then I would go to the commission the following year. Well, it has paid for itself tenfold. So I had asked for a jail detective position down there, and the money was not in the budget for that jail deputy position. However, we were able to keep her as a detective and just increase her money for the detective stipend. We give the other detectives $100. The next one was SWAT. Currently, they get $40, I think. Yeah, they get $40 a month to be on SWAT. It's a very physically demanding, time-consuming. They train 8 hours a month. And then on top of that, we average about, this past year, we averaged about 1 call out a month. But that's not really accurate. I think it was more like the last 6 months, we had 12 call outs. So, and that's on, I put on their doper time because we're taking people away from their family. Doper time is, we're gonna hit a house and we have to wait till the person gets there if they're gonna re-up and they're gonna go get more dope. So we have to position our people and be ready. So sometimes they can be in position waiting for 2 to 3 hours, waiting for the person to come back. Because it's, there's not really on the dopers, they don't really sleep, they don't have a schedule they actually keep. At first, that was taken out, but we were able to work with Kristen to get that back in and increase it to $1,800 a year for the SWAT team members. The next one was a hostage negotiator. They were getting $20 a month, and they have They train 4 hours a month, but they have 3 certifications that they have to do. This helps us to where we don't have to use force on a barricaded subject or an incident where we need a suicidal subject. We're able to call out those individuals, this team, and they're able to call out and actually shut down an operation so we don't have to use force, and that has been successful several times in the past also. The next one is starting salaries for deputies. We're at 37,000. I want to raise it up to 38,800. That she did put that in the budget. We have an issue with personnel, and you guys know that. Callaway County has raised theirs to 41,200. Boone County raised theirs. JCPD raised theirs. I think Osage County raised theirs. And while you say that it's not going to affect us that much, the deputies that we have in the jail will leave us to go to be able to work the road. Now that's helping us, being able to send them to get post-certified is helping us because they have to sign a 3-year contract, but we still have to be able to be competitive with the surrounding areas. And like I said, it is in the budget. And I'll talk about the 2% cost of living and how we, that raising their salary to that, we utilize the 2%. So, modified civilian salaries. We haven't really modified our civilian salaries to align with the other county job descriptions. And we also wanted to adjust for longevity like we did our deputies about 2 years ago. With the deputies, we went $500. We give them a one-time payment of $500 per year up to 7 years. With the, speaking with Kristen, the salaries was not, the funding just wasn't there. We weren't going to go through the funding to adjust salaries. But we were be able to do the longevity payments of $250 for each year in a position for up to 5 years. So if you've been with us for 5 years in a position, you could get an extra $1,200 or $1,250, I think it was. That just helps us, again, with compression that we have with compression. It also, hiring some of the newer people we have, everybody wants to make sure that they have a way to get, a way to be able to advance. This allows us to be able to do that. So when someone that comes into the workforce isn't making the same salary as someone who's been with us for 4 years. We wanted to move our carry forward. Oh, it worked out on there. So we want to increase the part-time salaries by $1 an hour. We're not asking for any money on that. We think we can do that with the funds we currently have, so that's actually a budget neutral issue. We'll just have to watch our part-time money's really good. 7, we want to reimburse the half of the person that we pay right now with CCW funds out of 702 and absorb that in because the CCW funds is going down. So I'd like to fully encompass them within our budget. The money wasn't there at this time, we couldn't do it, so we just couldn't fund that. Move the carry forward account from 705 for criminal asset seizure, the Mustang asset seizure, and inmate biometrics. There's no revenue line for those. So actual revenue line. So all it shows is 3 expenditures. So if we have, and I don't remember what we have right now, but if we have $108,000 in the asset forfeiture, then it shows as an expenditure whenever we're doing our budget. So it actually, it's money that's carried forward, and it actually takes away from us to be able to use our operational budget. So we worked with Kristen and moved that to a separate division, 705, so it would make it easier for us to have an actual, a good budget, a realistic one. Increase our training funds in 701, 15,000, offset costs for 3 people to get post-certified. That has worked out very well for us. We've been doing it for 2 years now, is that right, Bo? About 2 years. And it's worked out very well for us. After these individuals go and get post-certified, they have to sign a contract with us for 3 years. And again, that's also a great recruiting tool. So not a lot of agencies are doing that. And then the last one is we wanted to add a line in 701 for public relations of 8,000. and we weren't able to get the 8, we went for 4,000. And what that would be is stuff that we could use to buy when we go out to neighborhood watch programs, when we go for recruiting, when we go to job.
Fairs.
Yeah, when we go to employment fairs and stuff like that, so. The stickers we give to the kids here in the school and all that kind of stuff, so. And basically, those are the 10 things that we want to put in our budget. And currently, the budget that we've worked with Kristen, adding all these things that we just put here, I'm still a positive $547. So it's a black budget.
$594.
Is it 94? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I was gonna try to say 50 for myself there.
Pie, or pie, huh?
I don't think I have any questions.
So what's I mean, creating 705 to track this, but I mean, so we have, looks like we got revenue coming in.
So there is,
Commissary
there's
and-
some revenue, but like, they took over the Mustang account for asset seizure. It had about $107,000, I think, when they took it over, that came into their budget.
Right.
It doesn't bring in that kind of revenue during the year, so it's sitting in their cash forward. So we pulled those carry forward accounts down into a separate department to track those by themselves. So there will be some revenue that comes in, but they also have carry forward amounts in each of those that make the expense larger than the revenue. And most of those are created by statute or by federal funding that require the money to be kept in that account and used for specific things.
So the Mustang asset forfeiture, that's money coming in, right?
It may be. So we may get money, but we may not.
But it looks like it's an expense.
There's
That's-
both. So anything they bring in, they get to spend on Mustang. So anything coming in, it's restricted to be spent on that. And in some years, it's more than what they spend, so they have a carry forward amount that they're carrying forward every year that's larger than the revenue coming in.
But I don't see it in the revenue side.
Should be.
Page 100, it just doesn't say Mustang on there though.
Well, so there's grants and reimbursements on page 99, Mustang asset forfeiture, but there's no revenue coming in to offset the expense. I mean, you got 128,813, but there's no revenue.
That's the problem, but it will show as an expenditure.
So up on the screen is that fund, it balances by, or that department, it balances by itself. So there's $181,000 in carry forward amounts in those 3 accounts.
That's now in 705 on page 100.
Correct. And we don't know what that asset forfeiture revenue is going to be every year. It depends on what they turn over and what the feds give us back. So there's no revenue amount to put in there until we actually get something from the feds.
So where'd you say the carry forward was from?
181,174. So we
Can't see
created a
that.
separate cash forward in 705 here. And then this department balances by itself. So the carry forwards in those set aside accounts, plus the revenue and expense for the year, they balance together to net to zero. Inmate security biometric works the same way, so the biometric fees and the inmate commissary go into inmate security biometric by statute. It's only $72,000 revenue during the year, but they have 118 total, including that revenue that they can spend due to carry forward amounts from previous year.
But you're really just changing it for accounting reasons.
Right, so it's no different than what we would have budgeted in the revenue and expense. We just created that cash forward and pulled them out of his other funding, so you could see that carry forward piece by itself.
Yeah.
I don't think we can show a revenue legally.
No. The difference is like civil, my civil fees, we know that's 50,000 every year. We know it, so we can put that in the revenue line. But we have no idea on this other one. And the way the laws just changed, that asset forfeiture is gonna go even lower.
Your witness?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to get after him.
Make it easier, we can just go ahead and negotiate now.
I don't see a QRV, a quick response
That's in
fee.
the capital improvement.
Oh, okay,
Part,
okay.
Well, they'll get one as soon as they have some kind of asset forfeiture, includes your red Corvette.
No, I got the red Corvette today. I
I know,
parked
but
it.
they're gonna-
I parked it out there just because. This is
This
when,
Something under the handle.
this is when I brought it, so it's his birthday
Your
today.
nose is a little white.
It's
Oh, it's your mustache, never mind.
his birthday today, the Corvettes.
Oh,
Yeah. Pie later, we'll have pie.
yeah, I don't have anything else to run, so.
well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Camp.
Page 51.
One thing on capital yesterday, on the printer parking lot, I did not have a figure in there for that concrete work. I measured it up yesterday, it's 35 by 50. So it's 25,000, rough guess. How we get steel pour out. High strength concrete stuff.
Is that just for in front of the dumpster?
Yeah.
That's not the asphalt parking lot portion?
And asphalt was a number we had gotten Eric a couple years ago to do that.
But I didn't think there was a number in there.
I didn't have a number in there.
I thought I had a number in it.
Well, maybe you had submitted one, but I don't know if Michael did, so
I don't think Mike did.
he probably didn't know what the cost was gonna be.
I pretty well kept everything flat to this year, to next year. The only thing that I know of that's going up, our cleaning supplies are going up 3% for next year, but I should be able to keep that in line. Our repair companies, plumbing people, we use electrical people, HVAC, most of those guys are taking a 10% hike in their base fees. Our elevator contract went up, I think 2%, so that was figured in. Pretty well everything is kept the same. Our utilities over the last 9 years, we've been able to keep either close to same as budget from the prior year, or have gone down. I've noticing on jobs that the sheriff's actually went down almost $7,000 over the last year and a half. So products we're using to reduce energy costs are working. One of the big things we need to look at is water softener over there. Contractor that originally put it in was in yesterday. We're gonna have some issues with it using too much salt and the water not shutting off again. And he made the comment that this thing's never worked from day one. So that didn't make me happy either after hearing that.
So it's never worked since day one, so whose
Never
fault?
worked right since day one,
So whose fault, I mean,
it goes back to when it was built. We overseers of course, that plumbing company was out of business after that building was done. So we're gonna have to look at that, maybe replace it or, find somebody that can fix it. Where it works right. We don't have to keep having these problems. The only thing I put in really for next year, I've probably got 2 employees leaving. I did ask for next year full-time to start marketing these buildings more before I lose people. Because losing one person, 2 weeks try, 2 to 3 weeks training just doesn't work. They can't learn where everything's at. And this person that I'd like to hire to start working in a building for a week at a time and keep rotating, learning on all the buildings. That way, if I lose somebody at one of the buildings, I can put him in that building and hire another full-time and start learning the system again. All training. It'll also help out for vacation time. I've got a lot of employees now that have got multiple years. And their vacation keeps growing, because after 10 years, you get more days. So I've got 3 employees right now that are over 240 hours right now, and then he takes more vacation before the end of the year. That way would help with other things. The jail is starting to become a place where I can actually use a 3rd person some days, and a 4th person. As well as some other buildings that are just 10 years old, and equipment's wearing out. So it's a good job getting that too. I mean, it's, it's a big building. It's 150,000
so
square
could you take the one from health department and have her come over in the afternoon?
feet. I'm already using her elsewhere. She has actually started cleaning an EMS, and she's gonna be cleaning a couple hours during the day down at Prayer, to help out down there. She really, watch how I say this. She does a good job cleaning. Her mechanical skills are not, and that's not what I hired her for. She does a good job cleaning. I'll leave it at that. Need really more of a full-time person that's mechanical qualified, as well as doing cleaning like the rest of the guys are.
So would this be the one that in the future would move up to your
It could be possible.
deputy, or?
It could be a future assistant to me, yes. I've still got a couple in-house that some days I'm happy with, some days, I don't want to talk to them, so it's, it's the way of the game. It's, I've got, like I said, I've got 2 that are pretty decent right now. I probably could move them to an assistant right now if we had a position open. But I don't think I put that in the budget for this year. Budget got to be pretty quick.
So when are the 2 leaving?
That all depends if they tell me when they're gonna leave. That's the problem. I've heard 2 different stories already. One's leaving at the end of this month, and I heard he's gonna stick around for another year. So I don't know what he's doing. I'm not gonna mention names.
So of the 6 additional employees, one of them is a maintenance person for grade in the budget currently. He did request 2, but there's only 1 in there.
And with COLA, I don't know when, I know the judges asked for more cleaning staff over there too. I know we've got Rydell that are cleaning right now till the end of the month. So, there's a place I can use a person over there too, so. And I think the mayor, but I know Barry got pulled out and
So you haven't used anything for uniforms this year at all?
I have not,
Did you
I
ever
never
check
got
into
billed.
those pants with maintenance?
Yes, I did. I checked in with Aramark for uniforms. Set of 11, they deliver 11 uniforms, pick up 5 every week. And the total bill per person was gonna be $328 per person. And I kinda showed, it's not a jean type pants, it's more of a jean knit pants. I don't know, I put money in there for, a step money in there for them to go buy 3 pair of jeans and just bring in a receipt, like I think, what's it supposed to do that? Like Public Works does.
Guys say just give them a clothing allowance and
That way, they just want jeans to replace the ones that, you know, they get bleach and stuff on, which I don't blame them. I brought a couple pair of jeans already this year myself, bleach, some shirts, so. No, I was gonna get with the SCOBA, I was gonna get with Bill and get some more shirts, printed up from too, so. But
So you probably need to look at screen printing then, they don't need to be,
yeah, I don't know if Bill does screen printing down there or not, or. I don't remember getting a bill from him for my last shirts.
didn't bill us.
Might not have.
Well, yeah, the embroidered shirts, I mean, you can get them probably 2 or 3 screen printed shirts for that
Mhm.
price. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's obvious they don't get paid a lot, so if they got clothes that are being run because of the jobs we're asking them to do, then I'd like to try to, and it doesn't have to be the uniforms that we do through Public Works, but, you know, that's an option, or the other option,
Well, I
like you
looked
said.
at what Public Works is getting, because they brought it to me. And then he brought me a couple other, and I've worn them at other places, and they're hot. I mean, and the shirts are not comfortable at all. It's like trying to,
I'm not saying we force them to wear them, I'm just saying it's an option for them. They can pick and choose if they want to wear them, and they've got
I agree.
winter and spring type, some are heavier, some are lighter. I got different jeans that I wear too. And, you know, you're gonna be out in the middle of the summer working outside on a deck or something, you're not gonna wear the heavy pair of jeans.
right,
So,
like I said.
but I don't mind giving them an allowance to work on replacing some of the stuff that's damaged when they're using them.
Yeah, that's what we put in there on uniforms, so those get taken out. Maybe I put that. Evil uniforms in my note.
Christian uniform.
Yep.
Price of pants these days. See how much the sheriff's pants cost? What are they, $38? Those
For what?
are pretty comfortable, aren't they?
For what?
A lot of pockets.
They're not $38,
68.
a little higher.
I think you actually,
We can drop down a,
Well, the tactical, like you have on, or like the ones I have on?
One's that one like 65.
Yeah, so $65.
you actually got a pair long
But they
enough for
wear
Lyle
good.
too, I heard.
Yeah.
$1,200.
Yeah, I figured, 3 pair of pants and 3 shirts, so. The Washingtons get their, I mean, well, pants I buy from Washington's are $18 a pair, so.
bet those last about a month.
Well, a pretty good pair.
Catch them on a doorknob and rip them in half.
Yeah, or a piece of sheet metal across the thing, yeah. But that's, 3 shirts, $50. I don't know what embroidered shirts are costing right now, so. That's what I figured in for uniforms. The guys seem to like it too, they'll pick their own pair of pants out. A couple of embroidered, or screen printed shirts.
I don't think I have any questions. Anything else to add?
Still working on some rebates for Memron. should know here in a couple weeks. And starting Monday, I will be on vacation. See you next year.
Pray to God it doesn't snow.
If, of course, you can put it here. They're still working on it. We never went over personal capital.
If you guys wanna talk about his list of equipment and capital, it's back on page 112, I think. Any questions about it? That first section there is his equipment capital, not his building.
Might as well, I was here.
This is so small.
Gets smaller every year, it seems like.
Because the list gets bigger.
See it?
They put forklift left, I got with Cliff, talked to him on, what contracts he's been, well,
Yeah, y'all need to wake up.
Oh, yeah, you should be around her all the time. She does that on purpose.
Sorry, now I can see it, right?
Uh-huh. That's why she wasn't massive, you can't see her laughing.
I'm blinded.
Here, I can get it up on the screen too.
I can see it now. Got with Cliff on how the state contracts work, what contracts he's buying his fleet vehicles through. He kind of walked me through, how he does his. So we kind of put a truck together, pickup truck together, and time to get the radio in there, and a couple other things that, fire extinguisher and the safety triangles and everything that you're supposed to have, be DOT approved, came up to around 42.5. That's for, 3/4 ton, if we haul salt and stuff, everything else. But I was talking to Tyler yesterday out there, about some options. If we don't do the cargo van, then we can keep the truck I currently have.
Bless you.
That's,
Put a flatbed on it, for around, I think you said 3,800, 4,000, put a flatbed on that truck. Probably get another couple of years out of it, then I can drop to a half-ton pickup, which would be a little bit cheaper than, 42.5. Which is kind of making sense to me to do it that way. And just keep running that other truck until she finally just gives the ghost up.
how many miles you got on that one?
It's got 137.
Oh, hell, that's low.
Yeah, it's just,
It's just the body's rusted.
Yeah.
It's 100 miles on that. Yeah.
What'd you do to it?
Public Works.
But I guess we use public works.
Still low mileage. Jeez.
All in town, I don't drive again. Just going from here to buildings to buildings to buildings. To me, it makes sense to put a flatbed on it, we still use it for another 3 or 4 years. Until the motor goes and the transmission goes. Buy me a half-ton, put the boxes on it, for my tool storage and stuff, and just go from there. Cargo van, we priced out with ladder racks and the shelving and all that in it, the bulkhead to make it, several of the dealers you buy commercially, you get to choose a interior package for shelving and stuff like that. Probably won't do that. Backpack blowers, got one that's almost 15 years old and it's done. I'm not gonna repair it. You know, like I said, the trailer we're currently using is one that Dale had bought. I don't know what year that trailer is, but it's springs are gone. The mower we got on now, there's too much weight for it. It's just small 4x6 utility trailer is gone. I'd like to get a little bigger trailer, get rid of the walk behind, get rid of the room we've got. And buy a grandstand that's got the room attachment for new sidewalks and stuff. That way we also use it for a mower and then buy a rider mower and we just take back over all the mowing that's currently out there that we currently use out to the health department. We pay out there a year, $3,500, $4,000. We pay out there, has some of other address right now.
More now.
More than that, so 1 year we only pay for the mowers, one mower. And then we started at 7:30 in the morning, we're done by noon, what we currently mow. So throw another hour on top of that to mow the health building, which is still not a full day. Of course, like I said, got the floor machines, buffers and garnishers, hand blower, push mowers. Push mowers we got now are 7 years old. They mow a lot of grass. I like to go to the 30-inch, but 30-inch still is not. Gear drives on, or not holding up 1 year. Weed eater and expandables, that's about it. I don't even know who owns it anymore, has it been saved? I'm not sure who, I never saw.
You guys got other questions for Greg?
I don't think so.
You didn't call me?
Sarah?
That's everybody right now.
Thanks, Greg.
You want to call Sierra and
Yeah, you wanna do Donnell since she's not here?
maybe Estes?
Call Sierra and see if she'll come, but we could do Donnell.
Donnell's not here.
I know, so we can just, do you wanna do what
That's with
what she's requested and what you
shelving,
here wanna give her, or should we just
ladders,
go with your numbers and,
If there's anything in there that
So Donnell's trying to rearrange to where she's tomorrow, I think.
okay.
She got meetings and stuff or sick?
I think she's on vacation.
Oh, okay.
that's fine. I know. If you don't need me, I'm leaving. Peace to you.
We'll wait till you get back over there and call you.
Probably would. Sure.
300,000, yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. If you brought rocket
Just messing with you,
fuel-
Sheriff.
No, you're not. You're back. You don't know why.
Hey, I'm not far behind you there, buddy.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so.
We can run down the block and see who falls down first.
Do we wanna? we could
Tell
bring-
Bollinger to start, take off
we could
running,
bring
we'll chase
Judy
him.
up here,
I initiate a foot pursuit, terminate in the same breath.
because I know Judy's here.
Yeah, we can try Judy too. Debbie's calling Sierra, telling her to head this way.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we could probably do Judy.
I'm gonna run to use the restroom.
Okay. I'll get another cup of coffee.
Jeff,
Yes, sir.
That's a good idea.
did you leave something on your desk?
How many you want?
2, or, well, 1 for me, 3 for both.
Gun and Taser Lions Club.
Yeah, I did.
That's our big fundraiser for the year. Something about
Donate.
our peace officers like to have chances to win guns. I need to let them, I need to make sure they win one of these times. So that they know it's not rigged, so they need y'all.
I won one time about 3 years ago.
I thought he was scalping tickets for high school.
Yeah, the whatever I guess they had left yesterday, I was supposed to sell online, it was gone in 2 minutes. Is Donnell coming tomorrow, you think? Is that what?
She sent her an email asking if she could go tomorrow, so I guess we'll combine her with the other court
Yeah,
one.
Judge Beadham, I know is coming, so I was coming for that, so.
Is he coming today or tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow,
I
yeah.
was gonna say, he's not on the list today.
That was the only other one I thought I'd probably stick around for was Donnell.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, everybody else is just,
Same old. Same old.
see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
I can do mine if nobody shows up. I have speech.
We're doing a wellness thing.
Go, girl.
Thing. What?
Back in here. So is those the only 3 then?
So, hey,
Was Judy coming right
on
up?
our employees
coming up
here,
now.
can we do like that longevity pay?
You gotta do that for everybody, Sam? Or
Well,
that
I'm just
part?
trying to figure, our employees,
Well, nobody got anything that was here more than 7 years, 2 years ago.
okay,
And everybody else under that got money.
well, we
I didn't
need,
put that one in.
I just feel like everybody else, oh God, we want merit, we want this, we want that, and then our people, you
I have.
You,
I'm
you
gonna
just,
talk.
you just, we just figure, oh, we'll keep you the same, and it's like, I'm just, God, everybody wants merit. Don't say you want merit, no, that's a,
I want merit. No.
Oh, look at her.
It's the good stuff.
This one's my favorite.
is that the peanut butter plank?
No,
Oh,
it's the
see,
peppermint.
I like the peanut butter planks that she had last time. I thought those were good, I don't even know where you find those.
Sea salt and caramel, mint, milk chocolate caramel, dark chocolate.
Harry, we'll do Bloody Marys here probably the last day. We're just jumping around, Judy, but I knew you'd be here, so,
I am here. I think I'm gonna be easy for you.
yeah.
Judy, I need an extra one for Dawn for the minutes. So that's Dawn's. I'll take this one.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
You want to share with me or you want to make another copy?
Fun year. Especially for you. You're, well, it looks like that's good.
Getting there, yep. Told Debbie I tried to put on pants with a button this morning. That didn't go so well.
Yeah, tender.
I just consider every day casual Friday.
Yeah. Well, it should be. I'm sure I'll see it
It's mine. Yeah.
I'm good to go. Are you kidding? That's wonderful.
Yep.
I will tell you, everything we do as far as preservation on all of our books,
I love those books.
everything is so expensive, you know, just to cover them. It's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. It's, I can't believe the expense, but it's crazy.
Well, I mean, that's not a normal sized book.
No.
Those books are, gosh, they're beautiful.
They are.
When you open them and that you've got that ink that's faded to brown and the handwriting is just so beautiful. To me, you know, I tell people, I said, if you've got nothing to do for a couple hours, I said, go over there and just pick a date. Just, you know,
All right.
because
See
it
you guys,
really
thanks.
is,
There's a lot of history.
I mean, it's history, yeah. It's, and going back to 1821, you know.
It is, and you said.
Talking about your
several
birthday?
things that I had read in the books when you were on the
Huh?
radio.
Talking about your birthday?
We're talking about my car's birthday. No, we're, yeah. Come here, Jeff.
Still early.
Son,
Still early.
you know, you should respect your elders.
I do.
I know you're not
I give you
gonna
enough
believe this, but
parking.
I'm pretty happy.
Okay.
I don't think that
Okay, what
Corvette on
page,
the truck.
what page is Judy on?
With the staff, and we've been working hard this year, so.
Okay,
What page?
41.
Written down,
Oh, here.
41.
Page 40. 1.
Did you want me to start first?
You go right ahead.
Yeah, if you had any changes from what was in the book, I guess is what.
I do not. Shocker. I basically, what you're looking at on the top sheet, I basically wanted to print out a collections summary, and this report is from January through November. I believe in December we'll probably add another $50,000 to $65,000. But what I wanted to review and show you is, when you look at the total collections for our office, which is $606,875 for this year, what that means to us, because our collections are done, as I mentioned before, like piece by piece, $23, $1, you know, $3. That's a lot of revenue we generated this year, especially under the circumstances. Anytime between 400 and 500, it's a busy year. But this year, to have that kind of revenue, I think that should say a lot for our office on our work. But it is broken down into the disbursements. And what I also want to point out is you can look and see the total GR fund that we turn over is $426,286.75. So other disbursements go into the county retirement fund, preservation fund, which is the recorder's preservation fund, the state fund, the computer usage, which is the recorder's tech fund. That's from our website usage. We also pay into state revenues, which is domestic violence. We pay a user fee, which is $2, children's trust, and then our marriage licenses are $51, and those funds are broken down also into the different revenues. So that's what this sheet is for, is just to review that with you. And if you go to the second page,
When Jeff gets his marriage
I had
license,
a
I'll
bet
pay
on
for it.
when
I'll pay,
the first comment
I'll
was
pay,
gonna be.
I'll pay for it. Just,
Well, we're trying to change the law, so like the third time they add 0 to it, so instead of 15, it should be like 1,500. You know?
okay.
so 1,500 to get married or divorced?
So that 1,500 to get married, make sure you want to do it.
A lot more. It's easy
15's
to
too
get
cheap. I
in,
mean, it's not even much of an
harder to get out.
investment, so you do 1,500 and make sure you want to do it. Divorces cost a lot more than that. They're worth it.
We had well, I may have mentioned that we had a couple who got married, and he had lied on how many times he had been married. On the application, it says, what marriage is this? And he put down second, and I think it was like his fourth or fifth.
Oh, goodness.
And she took him to court, and I think she's doing well on that, so you gotta be truthful. on
That's the way to
those.
start off a marriage,
It's not
lying
good,
right
yeah.
away.
So on the second page, what I also wanted to bring to your attention is, I know that I say it, but I also wanted to prove it. You know, I do try to work, I understand, because Chris is always talking about GR, and I understand the whole concept of the county's revenues, and everybody has their part and their needs. But I wanted to point out too that with the Recorder's Fund, I do try to work with the county on that. I try to supply some of the things we need out of the revenues that we receive in the Recorder's Fund. Last year, we had a backup drive tape. It just broke one day. And so we needed to replace that. So we paid for that out of I paid for that out of the Recorder's recorder's fund. Also purchased a new server. I paid for that out of the recorder's fund. What we do not have, which I did add, which is probably something new for Kristen. I don't remember if I mentioned it to you, Kristen, but we have to, by statute, we have to back up our microphone. And our machine does not do that anymore. So I went back from 4 years ago to current, and I backed up all of those tapes, and that did cost us an additional $2,300, and I paid for that. That was not in my budget last year. I didn't know that actually the past 4 years were not backed up, but I paid for that out of the recorder's fund. So that sheet, basically, I just wanted to show that we do try to use the recorder's fund for our needs, but also to help GR. Mostly what I want to focus on for this year is the capital improvements. So if you turn to page 3, number B, I have an employee that has recently a back issue, and our chairs are old, and a lot of the backs are even kind of broken. They're not very stable. So I do have a chair in the office that Samco brought that I will purchase. I will purchase that out of the recorder's fund, that one chair, but going forward, I probably need to get a couple chairs for next year. And the other thing I really need is, we need to get the kitchen sink and cabinet set up. I had that in my budget last year, and I believe that was approved too, but everything started changing in March, so we just never did do anything with that. But we don't have really, our kitchen sink is just an old bathroom sink, and it's got a lot of calcium built up, a lot of rust. It's just difficult for people who come in with their lunch, and they do every day. We just don't have a place to wash dishes, clean things up. And the floors in there are really, really bad too. So I did add new this year flooring for the kitchen, and I did keep the kitchen sink and cabinet in there, which was from last year's budget. So that is my request this year, is to focus on the capital improvements, section B here.
See, we've got multiple departments wanting chairs and flooring. If we could combine all those, rather than buying a piecemeal, it would, I don't know if it'd save us any money, but
I would think it would.
yeah.
It all depends on the chair that you buy.
Well, that's like when.
Buy a
when,
pretty good $100
when
chair,
she
but
got- yeah,
$500
when,
chairs.
We had some $1,000 chairs that, and I emailed this person who's no longer here, and I said, I want to see this $980 chair. And boy, she was down immediately. So that's what I've got in my office. Has a lifetime guarantee. And I'm like, for $1,000.
Better read the fine print. I guarantee it ain't a lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, this chair that she's looking at, it's not leather, and it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, so I'm pretty sure we're under the $900.
Yeah.
But it still might be close to the 500, I don't know. Yes. Yeah, there is a big range.
I think we got $50 chairs up here.
Yeah,
I've had mine for 12 years now.
I'm having issues with my back, and these chairs are killing me, but
You just need a stand.
I need a $900
There you go.
chair.
You need a stand-up desk.
Yeah, Mark
Get you
has
a box and
Mark
set your
has
computer
those,
on
yeah.
it and work at it.
Okay.
I
Like to worry about your
stand-up.
back.
Yeah.
I like our stand-up.
Those things are expensive too, though, the desk.
Maybe we ought
Just
to,
Ones that sit on
because
top are-
the mechanism
They're
wasn't.
not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad.
with everybody that's looking at chairs, maybe we ought to just see if we can do a joint purchase.
You just need it for
And
a
the same
second.
with floors, just bid them all out. I don't know.
Yeah, but, we're in process
Might have to
right
go get
now
you one
to
off
get
my
down that
desk.
big
That's okay,
aperture card
I can do a
machine.
good one.
I don't have
We
one on
have
the side.
organized and labeled all those aperture cards. I mean, it's such a long process to do because we have to also coordinate them as we remove them. So with a grant, we have almost 800,000 images that we will put electronically, and that is huge for our office, so. As far as employees, I've recently had some change.
Yeah.
And with those changes, I'm good. But if there's merit, we definitely raise our hands because we worked all through the pandemic. We worked every day, we were there every day.
I told you
Turn on
not,
the
I
news,
told you
even
not to
if they say we're
I told you
essential.
not to mention merit. Okay, I'm not,
I'm just saying.
there goes your chairs.
If there's cookies, we want a cookie.
Yeah, there
That's
goes
all
your
I'm
chairs.
saying.
I know, I think the title companies have been real happy with a lot of the access that they have to stuff now. I think that's where the increases come from, is all the refinances and sales and stuff.
Yes, you are
Not,
correct.
not so much people selling their houses because the market's been stupid low.
The market, the housing market, they are so overpriced right now. It is a
It's
seller's.
supply and demand, because
Yeah,
there's no
it
supply
is.
out there right now, so.
But in March, when all this started, they were panicking because they had about 300 refis in the hopper. And what happens is they have so many days by statute to get those completed and brought to our office. And then we have 3 days to report them. And if we would have shut down, all of those people would not have been able to refinance. And that's a big deal, especially when it dropped down to 2.5%. So we were working.
Yeah.
I
think
did
that was
hear on
one
the
of our-
news, Sam say the reporter's office is open, they're essential, they're there to help. So I'm like, yes.
Well, they are, people need their marriage licenses,
Yep.
they need all this other, it's,
I don't think 2020 you should be getting marriage license. I think you should take that as a sign and just wait.
I think we issued more because they were concerned, because a lot of the priests and they were not performing them, so they were trying to hurry up and bump them up early. so
we
they
got a
could get
lot,
it
we're
done.
carrying over till next year, so you should be better. I think Jeff's is next year.
I'm sorry?
I think Jeff's is next year.
Nope, I'm gonna just take a vacation instead.
Prenup. No.
2/11, 2011, 2021, no.
I can't do that, that's my birthday year. Hey, when you turn 50, you get to have a birthday year, not a birthday.
Oh,
So, next year's my birthday year. Catching you, Sam.
If you have any other questions?
no, Judy, run,
Good
like,
job,
We're
Kristen.
getting
run,
like-
Judy.
I thought we were done.
Oh, so does that mean yes on the capital improvements if we're done?
No, we haven't approved anything.
No, we're going,
I know, and I
we're
will-
going
I will
over.
patiently wait this year. Last year, when I heard my budget was approved, right after it was approved, I ordered a copy machine, and Debbie called me, and she's like, whoa, you can't, that's not how that works. And I'm like, oh, it was approved, and she's like, no, not that part, we have another process. So I'm like, I didn't know that, so. I have a list every month, I just, want to get it done, so I will wait.
Okay,
Oh, good?
Think so?
Thanks, Judy.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Judy.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sierra.
Sierra,
She is on page 85.
thanks for sending us that information. Sierra,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you have changes from what I've submitted, now's the time to talk about them or ask about them or anything like that. If there's any changes that you want to see from what I proposed.
I know that I had emailed you guys a couple, I guess it was like 3 weeks ago, in regards to potentially using CARES Act money to hire a part-time assistant. And then that's when I come to the realization that that money ends December 31st, which I totally understand. EMPG, which covers half of my salary and supplies and some of the equipment maintenance. That was extended out until, I want to say May 31st. So I can't make any adjustments to that until after then. So even though I wanted to go ahead and ask again for more help and assistance, I think maybe it'd be better for you guys or the county as a whole financially in regards to record keeping if I just wait until the next go around with EMPG. That way I can go ahead and include an assistant in there. That we would only be asking for half the amount it would take to support that position. So as it says right now, how Kristen has it down, it looks fine to me.
I don't have any questions.
I know Brian had some stuff in capital for the MEOC, but he was saying maybe our SOC funds would help pay for that. So you think that's possible, or?
It should, yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
I know there was a surplus on a couple lines this year, just had to do with the fact that we weren't able to leave the office and go to meetings and conferences and things of that nature. A lot of the training was in CEQ, we WebEx or Zoom, so there wasn't any travel costs incurred. But it's not saying that won't happen next year, so whatever she kept it along the same lines, I thought that was
Is there any way to get some more SEMA or FEMA grant funds to help pay for? I know you talked about Tracy, trying to be like a deputy director or whatever, but I mean, obviously there's a lot of other counties that are slightly larger than us, but have multiple employees, and I think you pointed that out. But like Columbia has probably 10 employees in emergency management, or.
That's correct. And the one that I found that was close to us, even though their population was slightly smaller, was Johnson County, and I believe they have 6 full-time. And the thing when it comes to Tracy, initially whenever I came in because she is attached to our EMPG, so the state does cover half of her funding as well. I was under the impression that she was under the department rather than under the commission. But, and I don't know if that's in my wheelhouse to ask for her any type of raise or not, but the city of Jefferson was hiring somebody in a similar position at $17 an hour, and I believe that Tracy's $12 an hour, and she's been with us for a long time. So if that's something that, like I said, I don't know if that's in my jurisdiction, for lack of better words, or if that's something that maybe somebody else can look into, but I think in order for retention, it would be probably in the county's best interest to try to give her more of a living wage before she goes somewhere else. Because that's a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience in her position, and if we lost her, it'd be really hard to train somebody else to do it.
But is there more funding available through SEMA or FEMA for additional employees in emergency management or not?
Well, the MPG is what we used to pay half of it.
Right. But I think it was a half-time position at one time. Was it not?
For half.
Huh?
She was working for us scanning, so they were only billing half a half. Even in that grant, there's a top dollar amount, right? So they can't ever go over that, no matter if they have 50% of whatever. Still, there's a top dollar. We would get to that top dollar before we'd add all of that in, if that makes sense.
See, so we're topped out.
Yes.
So right now, most of the time, our expenses exceed what that's
Yes.
covering.
So I guess all the other counties are just eating the added cost.
The ones that I spoke to, they do use the MPG to match 50%, but outside of that, the other one does take that as their full responsibility of the employees. And honestly, Chris, I don't think that there is any other income supplement or wage supplement programs through FEMA or SEMA, except Doug.
It's just asking.
Otherwise, I'm good.
Have any other questions? Okay, thank you.
You didn't have any capital requests, does all her capital go through our SOC typically, or?
I did not get a separate capital request. A lot of her equipment does go through there, and then some of it's on Brian's list, so if our stuff doesn't cover it, it's on his list at the moment, because most of it has to do with their computer equipment and things in the trucks. Did you have equipment that you wanted?
Equipment, desks, computers, any of that stuff? Okay.
Good.
Yep, thank you.
Guys.
Thanks again for the
Absolutely.
information. Okay, well,
Estes coming?
it's only 9:30. Here it is.
You cannot come early. I can do mine if you like.
Yeah, let's do yours and let's keep moving.
I think I'm on there, 122.
Have we called Chris?
37 in the book.
So Donnell's not coming, I guess,
She's coming tomorrow.
tomorrow?
We're gonna fit her in, right, at the courts.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll just start. 122 is under you guys. It's basically people within this office here. As you know, we had asked for an HR manager within the budget. I'll just give you a little statistics. The county in 2007, we had 214 employees full-time. What's proposed in the budget for 2021 is 337. So we have grown tremendously. We added the jail, or we moved to a new facility in 2008. We added about 44 employees there. We took over EMS. So by the time 2008 came, and at the end of 2000, when we were going to take over the EMS, you guys gave me a second person in that office because I was working nights, weekends, couldn't keep up. So I got a new person in there. And in 2009, you guys seen that we needed a purchasing agent to share countywide. So then that purchasing agent came on, and that program is doing wonderful here. In 2020 now, we've added 235 election workers to our payroll system to even do those 4 payrolls this year. We have a turnover rate here about 15 employees a month, in, out. So that's a lot of work that goes on with that. We currently work nights, weekends just to keep up. Over the years, good common sense has made it through with a few attorneys' opinions on HR issues. But it's become apparent that the county has grown so much and we should act like a first-class county and have an HR department. You talk about Columbia and the EMS department. Columbia has 4 people in their HR department. First, I see this HR position getting our employee manual done. Legally done, binding out to employees sign off on it, we're ready to go. Job descriptions. We need a consolidated place where all the job descriptions are at. Not each department have their own, we need one. We need to check for exempt, not exempt. We need that all done. The countywide pay grid, that's a big issue. We need that done, and we need to budget by positions. We need to try to have camaraderie around the whole county. Consistency. We need recruitment. You need recruitment countywide. I see that person doing that. I see that person keeping up with the county website for all jobs available and job fairs for the countywide. Helping me and learning from me and negotiating with vendors for our benefits. We need somebody else to know that. Keeping up with the FMLA requirements, keeping up with the workers' comp new requirements, keeping up with the drug testing and alcohol programs here. I do my best on all of those things, but I feel like I am not doing any of them any justice because I am stretched too far. But I do my best. Training of elected officials, department heads, the do's and don'ts of hiring. I still see department heads and elected officials doing their own hiring, but eventually this HR position going into that. Training courses for all new employees, sexual harassment and any of the required training that needs to be done. Keeping up with background tests, new employees, physical tests. We keep charge of the physical test and the drug testing and that, but to do a better job at that countywide. I would like to set up a committee, if you guys do put this position in the budget, committee to help with the expectations of this position. Those were just a few on the list that I could think of that would really help. And the recruitment of this person, the pay range for this position, and try to make the county more efficient that way. I don't think we're not advancing at all. We're basically staying still and hoping everything works out. I would suggest we hire that position, and now what the county commission looks like from there. You know, if you guys, obviously, you're the decision makers. If you want like a county manager, controller, finance, and then have the HR, the attorney, the purchasing manager, and then I'd like to change one of my senior financial titles to an HR specialist. But just coming up with an org chart of where you see this office going. We're not only here to help you guys, we're here to help the whole county. We help every department. We just don't do just the county commission business. All the employees in the office, do not just, like I said, do not just do that. Do not just do the county's business, or the commission's business, but we do the county. Okay. Hang with me.
Deep breath.
Sorry. I get very passionate because it's a lot of work. And,
Well, we've been talking about that for several years too.
well, in the HR position, I want you to know will not eliminate much work from us here. It really doesn't. Those items that I listed are things that need to be done. I don't want this person to be doing the hiring and firing for different departments yet. I want them to be consultant for those departments. These departments have already got their people that do that. They have their committees, they have their groups that they do their hiring. I just want this person to help that, make that easier for them, make sure they're doing the right things, make sure our applications on the website meet all the requirements, you know. So, and again, my background was not HR, it's accounting, but you know, we've been able to muddle through till now. I think it's time. Again, I just want to talk about now the people within this office. I think the people within this office has, and to my detriment, we followed the rules. We asked for increases at pay period, at time, at budget time. We follow the rules, and we come in here and we don't say, okay, somebody left, so now we're going to give all that money to somebody else. We've never done that. We follow those rules. But in doing that, the county commission just approved a position at our public works department for a financial assistant at $4,000 more than my current senior financial assistant that's been here 10 years. So I think my people are just as valuable as any other department's people. And we work again for the whole county. And we have a clerk was just hired in another position at $34,500. I have a person who's been here 12 years making less than $34,500. And at the same type of position, if you ask me, same type of duties. The county commission also approved a position at the public administrator's office for $28,000 with no experience with the county. And now I'm speaking about the one that Sierra was just speaking about. She's been here 5 years, and she's only making $27,800. I think it's time to take care of our own people. Our people are just as valuable here that work for you guys as they are for other departments. So I'm asking for those to be increased. It's not all about keeping up with the other departments with their wage. It's giving them the value of the job they're doing. And I do think they do a good job, and they're very loyal. They stay here. And so I'm asking for them at this time. You guys have any questions about either positions? And I probably will be coming back at some point for more help, depending on how this HR person works. And if she's just doing these kind of duties and And the day-to-day activities, when we went from monthly to every 2 weeks pay, our job doubled. And I didn't ask for any more people then, but I'll just be quiet now. Let
Yeah,
you
we're
guys
putting
ask
a
me.
lot on you. Although you haven't been up here on Sundays
I-
lately.
Nope, coming up this weekend, I'm sure, after this week.
You don't have to be.
But, you know, when you retire in 10
You got
years,
cell phones.
it's gonna take 3
Computers.
people to do your job in 10 years.
I don't think you'll find, not in today's market, nobody's gonna,
10 years went right back, good.
it's not, no 10 years here. And to me, it's a transitional. I want to have somebody else know what I know. You know, I've been here 30 years, so it's hard to spit out everything when you do some stuff once a year.
It's another 10 years, 40 years sounds
No.
good.
I wanted this to be a transitional part, so whether when I leave, you don't think you need a manager, but guys, when you guys are not here, there's a lot that goes on that I handle. Whether you agree with it or not, but there is a lot, you know, so we keep the county running, so. I come to you with big questions, but.
I think we need an HR person. And I
Kristen
think
does have that
if
in
we've
there.
got 337 full-time, how many part-time?
About 100, they're not all active working,
Okay,
probably 60 actively work.
okay.
You gonna be able to let go some of the duties?
These are really, I mean, these duties that I had mentioned that this person would
There's
do,
a
I
lot of HR
try.
stuff that you do that you're gonna have to turn over to an HR person if we hire an HR person, so
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about. Cause you're a mother hen, you like to do
Well,
it all.
I gotta try, I know
So
it.
you're gonna have to be willing to turn some of it over.
And that's why these people are coming in less, because I think, oh, I'll just take it on, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. You know, if something new comes up, I'll just do it.
Just
Instead of
saying.
giving it to somebody
You gotta be
else.
willing to turn some of that over.
I know, I am.
Okay.
It's either that or have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
I got a
Or walk
drawer
out.
in there, if you have one of those, go get you a swing.
huh?
There's an emergency drawer in there, so.
Well, I can tell you, back in 2008, I came in here crying all the time because I couldn't take it, because I was working nights, weekends, and that's when they put Betsy back there with me. Honest, and that's what's gonna happen again. And I am very loyal to the county.
Now, I would like to give our employees more because we do. I see this, you know, they elected officials have come before us and we're starting new hires out at more than what,
Yes,
it's just,
and it's very hard to keep up morale
yeah,
when that happens.
yeah.
So what's your all's feelings about HR?
We'll see where we're at with the numbers before I'm gonna be adding people and, you say take care of our people that we have, we gotta decide if we're gonna take care of people we have, or if we're gonna hire more people, so. It's,
That would be great if that was across the.
But if we've got roughly 400 employees, full and part-time,
We just did the step pay chart last year to try to even things out, and, excuse my language, but that's more screwed up than
Well, and that only
a
benefited
soup
people.
sandwich.
Yeah, that only benefited people that were here 7 years or less, so the people that were here longer, and that's what the problem is.
No, I'm
You're
not
hiring
even
new
talking
people
about that,
more.
so people that may be here for 12 years, you know, more than the 7-year people, they didn't quite get as much, but it did try to bring everybody into,
It only fixed the starting salary.
Yes.
And then it only adjusted it up to 7 years.
it didn't even fix starting salaries, because when somebody leaves, the other elected officials send their pay form in, and whatever money they wanna put on there, they can put on there, so.
Right, it went out the window.
mhm, yeah.
Exactly, so, I mean, you went through a lot of work for that, and it lasted all of 2 weeks.
And I really think
I don't
that
think it
this HR
lasted 2
person
weeks.
is just
Sure.
as important as our purchasing person was when we first hired that. That was a good fit, and relatively, all departments, all elected officials have bought into it. And they know that it's better to let her handle purchasing stuff than them going out and getting their own. So that has worked, and I think an HR, the right HR person, can help all the elected officials and department heads buy into it. And if we only budget by position, and we don't budget by actual, that could stop some of this. But that, a good person
It's
in that
not going to,
position.
because when they have somebody quit, they're still gonna hire them at have whatever that person left at.
But then the commission next year only budgets it for that position.
So then you're gonna have to tell that person they get a pay cut?
You're gonna have to tell that elected official to fix it. This is what it is.
We've been through this every year, and we've never been able to find a way to fix it. I agree. I'd like to be able to say, okay, you wanna do it this year because you have it in your budget? That's fine, but come January 1, somebody's getting a pay cut, but you can't do it.
That's
You
really
can't
the
cut their
only-
pay cut.
That's our only,
Through the budget is really the only way you can control it. Because
But we
once their
can't-
budget for the year is approved, they have that amount of money.
Well, we can't cut
But when
their,
you approve their budget for the next year, you could say it's not there, but
So if
again,
they
you
start
have to
them
take that.
at 34.5 instead of 32.5, then for the rest of the year, they get their 34.5, and then come January 1, we say, well, we're cutting your budget that 2,000 because you paid them more than the starting wage.
and, you know, if we had a system in place with
No,
this.
I'm asking, can we do that? I
Well-
don't think we can.
Oh, I think you
I
can.
think you can.
Yeah, you can cut their budget the next year. There's no
No,
doubt.
how you gonna cut their budget and they have to cut somebody's pay then?
They brought them in at the wrong rate.
We're the ones signing the pay for them, so we're just as guilty then.
I think you could have a disclaimer on the
Yeah.
bottom that says,
This
this
is not
salary subject to
appropriate.
annual
I'm
appropriation.
willing to work with anything, because like I said, we've done this every year.
But I think if we have the right HR person and he or she comes up with a plan as to, okay, you got a really experienced person coming in like you wanted to do, you have a really experienced person, well, we can do 2,000 more than the bottom of, or the beginning of the pay. If there's a system in place that has some flexibility, I think there'd be more buy-in. Will that solve all of our elected officials? No. Will the majority of them? Yes. I think the majority of them want a standard. They want everybody to follow the same standard. But when they see other people coming in here and getting stuff, they're coming in too.
Right.
And this does not stop.
It trickles
I
down.
know.
I know, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm preaching.
No, it's,
Fine. You're
That's,
fine. You're
that's
not wrong
almost
at
a
all.
separate issue from the HR
Yeah.
person. I mean, I agree that it would maybe help, but I mean, until you can stop the process of them being able to use whatever they have remaining in their budget to hire at this rate when they should be hiring at this rate. I mean, yeah, I mean, we talked to someone about that earlier, and yeah, I mean, yeah, you can cut their budget, or you tell them, well, you're not getting any capital, you could do a lot of stuff, but that doesn't work very well with trying to give somebody a decrease in their salary.
Well, and it doesn't work across the board either, because there's different offices that have different funds that,
But, I mean,
It's not
I've
straight,
been for an HR person for the last couple of years, so, I mean, I think that it's way past time to get that done, get us in compliance, and, you know, we thought we were on the right track with, you know, hiring somebody as a consultant or whatever, and that kind of had its problems and issues, but we gotta get it done.
Yeah. I think we're big enough. I mean, we're way past, you know, trying to keep up with good common sense here, because we got all kinds of employment issues, and we have such a diverse group of employees that we need help.
We keep growing, and
Yes.
those accounting things and payroll things keep growing, and you're gonna have the staff and the people to keep growing with it.
Yeah, and we have different rules that we do with different departments, you know, now. I see that probably getting worse in the future, you know, so. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that
Okay.
with HR and take care of my own people here, our own people.
yeah.
so what all do we have on tomorrow's? most elected
When
officials
is
on.
Estes'
No,
son?
we're waiting on,
It's-
waiting on Joy. Waiting on sunshine.
We got Donnie, Steve Korsmeyer, Matt, Ralph Job,
So then we have all the
Locke
presentation stuff
Thompson.
tomorrow. And then when do we sit down and start?
The 14th. I mean, we can talk about other stuff now if you have, I mean, most people that have come in haven't had a lot of changes. Do you guys have changes you want to make to any of the departments that you've heard from already?
I didn't see anything yet, but, doubt as far as what any differences that you had or that they had or.
So there are a few things that have come up since I submitted the budget, that I have to fix on the payroll side. Some of the changes in 211 that happened after, Larry brought up his 3,000 that I had missed, so I need to plug that in. I made a mistake with the loggers amount in the prosecutor's office, I need to correct. And then there's a discrepancy in the total amount that we budgeted per person for health, dental, and life. I think now's the time to fix it, so it's a $20 per person adjustment that I'm going to update.
Per
and,
year?
I think that dental and life increased last year and we didn't increase our total dollar number. I think it's better to fix it now than to wait and do adjustments at the end of the year. So I'm gonna fix all of that in the salary spreadsheet and update your guys' numbers to be actual on those changes so far. That's this afternoon's task.
you've got
hopefully.
tomorrow, you've got health insurance fund. Do we want to do that now? Can we,
I don't
can
know
we
that
call Chris and see if Chris can come
He
earlier?
said he won't come earlier. I don't know that you, since you posted tomorrow's agenda, I
Okay.
don't know that you can really talk about
Okay,
the ones
okay.
for tomorrow yet. We can go back and talk about any of the ones we've already talked to, and we can go through any of the small, I mean, we went through most of the smaller funds yesterday afternoon, unless there's something you want to see. We could look at EMS sales tax if you wanted, because it's not really tied to a particular person. We can look at capital improvement sales tax if you have questions in there.
So capital improvement sales tax, you're talking about trying to pick and choose some projects or?
I think that there's some things in the list that we could possibly do now. Our sales tax this year has turned out better than we expected it to. In March, obviously, we thought it was going to take a downturn due to COVID.
I didn't.
I did.
I did, just wait.
You want me to stag
I
at least?
Wait till we're gonna get, oh,
Doesn't mean we won't.
you
be-
can't taste it.
Yeah, it may be coming.
You can't taste it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I still think it could, but I think that
You could.
there's some money there that we could spend if we wanted to knock some of the smaller things off of the list or some things
I
that
think
we
if you
had
see
on
the
the list
rates go
from
back
this
up,
year.
that may slow some down, but right now, a lot of the refinancing, people refinancing and doing some work. I was just talking this morning, to somebody about that. They're refinancing their houses because they've got such low rates, and then they're getting some extra money and doing work on their houses and stuff, so.
We are.
So if the rates stay down, I mean, this could go for a while, but.
But I know there are some things like Judy's kitchen project, and I know some of the things on Greg's equipment list are things that we had on the capital list this year that we kind of put on hold. So I think we could do some of those things if we wanted to now, to take them off of the list for next year.
You got Prayer Center floor, you got Judy floor.
Those are the only two, right? So far,
That's what I'm trying to think of.
but that's what we just need to have a list of and then go take a look and.
But if you
get
do
them
both of
either
those
as
at
a
the same
separate
time,
or-
and then again, Eric Peters wanted chairs, Judy wants chairs. We have, anybody else?
We don't really have to pick and choose right now. You know, we can do this again, you put a lump sum amount in there for capital. I don't wanna put it off too long. We come back in January or whatever after the budget's approved and say, you can have this, you can have this, you can have this. Or find out what your big project is gonna be that you wanna do next year.
Was Eric sitting out
Because-
chairs?
I mean. it's
I thought we were
up to-
talking about spending something now versus,
Oh.
I
Carry-
mean, yeah, I
carrying
mean,
it
I
forward.
think that if we wanted to do some of the smaller things, we possibly could, and, I mean, it obviously will change that carry forward number for next year, but,
And that's fine.
are those floor machines that Greg talked about, are those on cooperative or?
they might be, I don't know that we've looked into that. They were on his list last year too,
Which one is that?
the Trident.
I don't know.
machines.
I don't know which one's more pressing, but I mean, some of those might come in under the bid limits, but
Well, and like he has some things like, you know, his backpack blower and hand tools and weed eaters. I mean, some of those things obviously would be under the bid limit. You could purchase some of that and get it off of the list and make it the list more the bigger projects.
You got insulation at Pringer Center, a new solid core door.
yeah, but a lot of that stuff, you're just not gonna be able to get somebody to probably get it done
Yeah.
quick.
Get your invoice from you.
Well, and maybe it's the fact that we want to pick a couple of the larger projects and start the bidding process so that next year they can move forward.
Right.
Maybe that's where we're at. Maybe we don't want to spend anything at the moment, but we want to determine what those are and have Jessica start working on it so that we can move next year a little faster. I don't know. I think we really need to possibly tackle what that long-term plan is for Adams, for the old jail, for maybe that's just having someone come in and help us figure out what the right future looks like and what project needs to be tackled first, or what the options are as far as moving people around if we wanted to. I know we are running out of space in places. If you add an HR person, where are we putting them? So I think there are some space issues that are going to have to be addressed in the next couple of years. Maybe now is the time to see what that plan looks like as far as moving people around.
She's right, the HR, you know, they're gonna have to stay close to us for a while, so there's an issue there.
So we need to decide, do we want to spend money fixing up Adams? Do we want to tear down the jail and put on that addition there? I think
I
those,
think you got two different things there, because the old jail's gonna be something that's gonna be more related to the courts and getting them a decent courtroom where they can have enough jurors in there to do juror selection. I think that's a big project for that. The Adams Street project I see is totally different and being more of it's in the footprint of the downtown area and for county offices to be in there, so. Because I don't think the courts wanted to move over here. If we moved commission meetings over there to Adams, I don't even think they wanted to move here because they'd have to duplicate their services of security and marshals, so I thought it was kind of an easy fix if we wanted to do that, but it didn't sound like it. But I think Adams Street would be kind of a low-hanging fruit to get something fixed there, and its space has absolutely been wasted right now.
Mhm.
Well, and I think if you do that, you need to have somebody tell you what the options are with this building if you move people around. Because I think the HVAC in this building is kind of waiting, depending on if you're going to change the footprint in this building before we do that HVAC. And that's one that I think it's costing us more money than it should be,
Most definitely.
heating and cooling this building. So we've been pushing that one to the back burner until we make sure that the footprint of this one is what we want it to be before we update that HVAC system. So if you can figure out where the moving parts are going to land, I think that's one that needs to be a priority
we just need to draw something up that we all agree on. And that's the thing, is there are a million different options on how to do it and where to move it to, so.
I think you need to think about which offices work best together, and then try to see if you can fit those groups into one building or the other.
When she means that, she means actually, yeah, we have to be talking to them every day.
Right.
We have to walk to a different building.
Well,
Or
and the collector, a lot of times
easily
people come in to pay money, they need something from the
Right,
assessor's
so
office.
ease
so-
Yeah,
of use for
so-
the public and ease of use for the employees. So, you know, you don't wanna move me to the health department and leave Debbie here, because we literally talk to each other every day and are passing things back and forth. That doesn't make sense. Collector, assessor, recorder. Usually if you're seeing one of those people, you could possibly be seeing the other two.
And I see those more as a courthouse related thing, so if people come to the courthouse to look for, hey, I need to find out where to pay my taxes, where to get some information about my taxes, or record something, I'm going to the courthouse, so they're right here, they're at the annex to the courthouse. They come up, some people come up to try to find us, but most of the time they call or whatever.
I mean, I think
Commission, auditor, kinda same way.
well, I think the financial
Finance.
envelope, so treasurer, purchasing agent, HR person, finance, you know, our group of people that all deal with financial stuff, usually the employees from outside are coming to see us, so to have us kind of centrally located to where it's one spot, hey, I can drop off my money to the treasurer, I can drop off my paperwork to the finance office, you know, yeah, it's centrally located that way. Obviously, you have to stay fairly close to the clerk's office as well. I
I
mean,
just
it's-
think this is a big financial investment, county money, that I think it wouldn't hurt to get somebody from the outside in to look at our facilities, see what we have. And you guys share with them the plans that you see, what you want to see in the future, and they come up with options for you. That's what they, you know, that's their profession, that's what they do. That may be into next year, so maybe you just want to approve some little stuff now, you know, get some of this little stuff out of the way. I mean,
I don't think I'm disagreeing with you at all on you're talking about getting an architect and draw it up, but they're gonna ask us the same stuff that I'm saying we need to decide what we wanna do, and what you just said we need to do. Who needs to be put together and where, so.
And it might actually
Which is
be
gonna come
better
first.
for us to go over there and
That's kinda the way I see
the
it.
clerk, and then you could actually take this space and just make it a big, I don't know how many, what supporting walls, but make it so that when they do jury selection or something like that, even though it's separate from that, you've got a big,
well, and I know someone brought up
A
at
big
one
space.
point the possibility of something between the buildings.
That's,
So,
Connie
what
had
if
that,
you
which
had
I,
elevators that went both sides
and
you
bathrooms,
had one central entrance.
yeah.
You'd have one set of security, but you could go to either building and go up and down the floors even though they don't meet. I don't know, and add bathrooms or something.
That was Donnie, and even a new elevator.
And if at that point you decide to remodel the courthouse, the plumbing, the electrical, the whatever, all the piping, if that involves going to the public for a bond issue, that's what it has to be, you know? So, because when you talk over there and you talk about replacing all that, I don't know how a 5-year 15% would ever help us there.
No.
Yeah. So it's definitely a long-range plan, and long-range to counties is 5 years, I'm sorry.
I think we probably do need to bring in
It shouldn't be,
somebody
that's the way it is.
who can look at all of our buildings and tell us what is if we use Adams, what are the best offices to put over there? If you put the recorder and the assessor and the collector over there, so they're all together. If you put us and Kristen and, I don't know what other offices.
So you could ask several companies to give you some type of a comprehensive plan as to what they think would be the best solution for,
And even a treasurer. The more we can move
now
out
and
of
future needs.
we can move out of the courthouse, the more space we're giving them. I know Eric doesn't want to move, but, you know, what you want to do and what you don't want to do, and even the public administrator, of course, they work with the courts, but,
What if you guys wanna think about that, we'll be willing to, you know, get some kind of proposal out, and, but there definitely is gonna be involvement from you guys as to how to.
I mean, just,
Where do you wanna work at this from, though? Do you wanna decide where we want people, and then we hire somebody to come in and
so I,
here's what we wanna do? Or do you wanna say, we have $6 million to work with, and make it work within those parameters?
so just my thoughts. I mean, I don't have any input in it. I mean, your guys'
Well, say you
decision, but,
did.
well, I
Got
mean,
27 more
for
days.
now, but, anyway, I would like to see 3 architectural firms or whatever that is come in and say, show us the plan. And then work within a, you know, I wouldn't tell them how much money you got, because maybe the plan is a lot more than what you want. Maybe it's less, I don't know. But I mean, you got multiple issues. You got an old jail that's fallen down. You got an Adams Street property that's here. You got this building, and obviously we could function better if our offices were laid out better. I mean, that's all they need to know. Here's our assets, here's what we need to do, give us some kind of a plan, and then let them figure it out.
And if we have to go to phase 1, that we can afford, and then we go to phase 2, you know, that.
Sure, you
At
could-
least you're getting to where you wanna ultimately be.
You could phase it, I mean, the jail may not have to come down right now, but I mean, there's challenges there with the Sally Port and different
yeah,
things
there
there
might be, you
too.
just take it down and not do anything with
Right.
that for the time being. You got more parking than,
But that way it lets creative people be creative in how they go about doing it.
Not really giving them restrictions
Right.
from the get-go.
But it also gives you some options. I mean, rather than just dealing with one individual or one firm, you know, maybe you find 2 or 3 firms and you say.
but we
this-
need a clean function. It's kind of like Blair Oak spending $20 million on a new high school, and then public schools spending $130 million on a high school and redoing the other high school. Yeah, we need the $20 million. We need a good, efficient, clean, workable building. We don't need all the whistles and bells. We don't need, you know, mahogany from the Amazon and all this other stuff. We don't need gold fixtures, recessed lighting.
Yeah, we don't even need doors, just leave it open all the time.
Sliders.
You got shower.
You can bring us
Yeah,
one.
shower curtains. Hey, it works for the court, it works for the courts.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem with giving them freedom to think outside the box. I think we still have to give them some kind of parameters.
Yeah.
And say, if we can come to an agreement on what we want where, kind of what I envision though is that something happens at Adams, and then whoever moves out of their places in Adams, so it frees up to where you can
Right.
do work in that area. Because the courts are gonna still have to have some way to function. And
Right.
I kind of see that as going like one floor at a time, because I think you're gonna have to do HVAC, plumbing.
Yeah, it's probably a
electrical,
tear down,
like,
Adams. I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, there ain't that much there to save. I mean, I think you'd be better off to tear it down and start over.
That's a historic building.
Sorry.
That was an A&P store back, probably going back to the 30s.
I mean,
That thing's almost 100 years old. Give
yeah.
it 10 years.
There's just,
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
Sure.
I like Chris's idea. I think if we looked around at neighboring counties, someone like us,
right.
if you've been to Boone County Courthouse lately, I hate to use Boone County as
Right.
an example to follow, but it's quite spectacular how they added on to that old courthouse and saved it and still function. There's tremendous growth up there. But I bet you some of these architects have been to some similar counties and faced the same issues. We're facing it for the first time. They've They
Right.
solved this problem 4, 5, or 6 times probably,
Right.
and it'd be worth it to start with a group of 3 and narrow it down to
Sure.
one that you kind of like and go with them. But, we've got so many tentacles, and we're so unique. We've got the old jail to get rid of and do something with.
Health department.
I'm afraid that one of these days, somebody in the courtroom on the 3rd floor is gonna have a big one, you know,
Mhm.
the cardiac, and they're gonna have to stand up that stretcher and get her up, that person up or down.
Right.
We're so far behind on ADA, I guess, that, in that building, but it's, we've gotta say, that it's a spectacular building.
Yeah, so
Tearing the
there's,
old jail down and redoing that and getting all the layers to line up would have also added a
That-
ADA access.
That might be the
So-
real entrance to the complex.
It would have been ADA, so that would have helped out with that. And I forgot about the health department building too, so.
Yeah, we still, well, we've got,
Have we had any-
we need to list the health department building. We need to give it to a realtor and let them sell it.
Give me the word and we'll get that.
you know, it's like Harry said, I mean, there's been a lot of counties that have built a government facility next to the courthouse or whatever.
We didn't have MAC conference this year, we could have talked to probably 6 of them down there.
Right, but I mean, and those government buildings have been pretty nice buildings that they've put in, and, but I mean, it's kind of like, you gotta plan for now and the future, because you are gonna grow, I mean, so you gotta have some extra space.
Compared to where we were 13 years ago to where we are now. I don't expect taking on an EMS department ever again, or, you know, the jail getting any bigger, but our employees grow.
It's kind of like a school, you know, I mean, obviously, it'd be a lot easier just to add a floor if it was built that way than it would be to, you know, try to find more space where you're at, I mean, and you're in downtown where it's not easy to find, so.
Well, maybe that would be good if you guys could reach out to any of these other counties that have done this, or been there, that they could help be on the selection group with us, or, you know, help us to work with it.
And it might be there's a specialist you bring in who's not an architect, but it's
Right.
a planner who goes and looks at all of our buildings, you know, public
Needs
works and health, and then makes a recommendation, and then you bring in the architect, and say, okay, here's, because we do, we have 8 buildings now. And we probably do need to list the health department and the old health department and get rid of that and then start looking at,
Count all those sheds and stuff. Okay, well, you just let us know, and if you wanna wait till after the first of the year, we got Jessica, she can go out and try to find, however you wanna do it. If you wanna do a needs assessment first, if we wanna do a RFQ, if you wanna get this committee with other people that have done this and fill them out before you do anything, you just let us know, we're here to help you. But Jessica can get the RFQ together.
was December, so I don't think
Yeah.
we get anything done more this year unless we want to list the old health department.
Unless there's
And-
parameters that you want to try to come up with that you're going to give them, like if you want to figure out square footage of certain departments currently and how they have to fit people together.
But then again, maybe a strategic planner as opposed to an architect is who we need. Because an architect's gonna look at that building, they're gonna look at, and, you know, it might be easier just to tear down that building. I mean, it's, and just build anew.
With the investment you're gonna make doing this, maybe that makes sense. Where do you
Yeah.
wanna be, where do you think your department's gonna be in 10 years? I mean, obviously, but-
You'll still be here, so you can
No?
tell the presiding commissioner then.
So, okay, well,
Yeah.
do you wanna go over any other capital? If you wanna go over any other capital?
We can.
So what is our next, not till 11?
11:30, so,
No.
We got Donnell on there at 11.
Well, weren't
No,
some
she's
of
not
these
here.
capital items in this
she's
year's
coming
budget?
tomorrow.
So, I mean, they were, so I guess we
We
just
didn't
have,
really approve.
we didn't approve them though.
Yeah.
They were just kind of a wish list.
So, I mean, I can go pull last year's budget book and look at the list of the things on there that are still on the list, maybe, I don't know. Or, you know, if you wanna wait out the rest of the year and we're close enough to the end of the year now, if you don't want to.
Or we could say, Greg, you got 25,000, get some of these little things off your list. Unless there's something that you absolutely don't agree with, that he needs. And let him be the priority of.
Did we bid something on the health department that we decided not to move forward with? He did like the outside of the painting stuff. Is there a project that we did that we,
I don't think we did.
Painting at the health
I don't think we did the painting.
department. No, or we did inside.
there was something I thought we did and it was like in March when it came back and we decided just to put it on hold. But I don't remember what project it was.
I think the painting was like 60,000, but he's got 125,000, so he's doing more than just painting.
That'd have to be exterior, because the interior's in
Yeah,
pretty good shape.
exterior, yeah.
I mean, it's got a new roof on it. I mean, I thought he said that we had new siding put on it, so I don't know what,
I don't think we
I don't
did.
know what, surely the siding
Well,
would need
we did
painting
the
already.
part that, around the windows, that was,
Yeah, that's what's on the list, painting and exterior repair, and then what he has on there.
Maybe that's new siding or something, I don't know.
I thought he said the siding was fine, but it needed new
soffits and,
screws or nails or however they attach it was popping out, I don't know.
120,000 seems like a lot.
yeah. it-
To let you know, I did get the remaining part of the roof project back, so we got a check this week for 60,000. So, on the,
Oh,
you know, they hold back so much until you actually get the roof done. Thank God I remembered to ask him for.
Did we pay for the final payment on HVAC that so it works?
That's like $1,400. But I gave it to her, so.
Well, I think I saw a payment, I just didn't know if that was the last one or
That's
not.
a little, that they're done. Way I.
Do you guys have anything else you wanna talk about? You wanna take a break until 11:30?
Might as well take a break till 11:30.
Yeah, I think
Unless there's
so.
something you wanna knock out.
Yeah, if we
I don't really
can't,
have anything
if we
in
can't
particular unless
do
there's something you guys
tomorrow,
wanna go
so.
back and talk about.
Yeah, I don't think you need a desk and stuff. I think a card table and a folding chair.
Hey,
I,
Sam, if you give me a person, I will make a card table and a folding chair.
I think, yeah,
Well,
That
Jeff
was
could
how-
probably build a desk out of a couple two before.
crates,
a sheet of plywood.
crates.
I will build a desk out of plywood and 2x4s if that's what it takes.
But she wants a $500 chair.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of chairs.
No, I'll sit on a folding chair and they can have mine, I don't care.
Speaking of that, I'm getting, Melanie needs a chair. She sits down and it goes down. And so then she had them come in, this is how tight our people are. She had them come in and put a new thingy underneath it. So it's working. You know, what do you-
Yeah.
Well, Judy wants chairs, Eric wants chairs,
Our
let's,
people suffer.
let's,
Maybe
what,
we should have a standardized chair that.
yeah, what did Eric want, four, or
I
two,
like
two styles they can
3 or
choose
4
from.
that they can choose from.
You know, yeah, and just
Well,
say,
he wanted, I think he wanted both, he wanted stationary chairs and then he wanted.
yeah, he does.
I get that, but I mean, you know, maybe this is standard, you know,
Well-
couple color options or a couple
I almost think
options,
we
but.
should have some kind of like, hey, here's 2 options for a
Yeah.
rolling chair and here's 2 options for stationary chairs.
If you want stationary, Dr. Cameron has a whole bunch in his basement when he closed his office or from his waiting room. And I bought some for my store at $50 a chair. and they're damn nice chairs. So I can get Eric 3 chairs for $150 that are like new.
I think they want to go in recess until 11:30, till the next budget meeting.
Okay.
Poor Chris, I mean,
Hey,
look at this.
that's right.
Look at this, look at this.
That was just.
Talk about,
Just to protect the
about,
wall.
Harry, that's what you inherit.
I'll disinfect it good for you.
What's your chair in your office look like?
I don't know.
Look at the one in my office. That's still that same green one that Pee Wee, I think Pee Wee probably used that all.
Do you want a
$16
$500 chair? We can probably get one that massages and
That one is
everything.
historic, because Pee Wee was in it.
We can get one that massages. He's getting better.
Oh.
Is he,
He's
so,
Okay.
was he in another accident?
No, but he
Are
had,
we off?
I don't think
oh,
so.
no, we're not.
You guys want to go out?
I'm gonna be staying in recess till 11:30.
11:30,
Second.
second. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, take us off.